Welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Reshaping Business with Integrity, the podcast where we explore how to run your business authentically and with integrity. I'm your host, Elisa Bogarts, a business coach and launch manager, helping coaches launch their programs and events that align with their business values. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to building a successful business without sacrificing morals, ethics, authenticity, or heart. Let's dive in. All right, so let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get affiliates to send you clients and fill your events. And today, I have an amazing guest with me, Chuck Anderson. And Chuck is an affiliate management expert. He is a trusted guide in the world of affiliate management, bringing over 20 years of experience to the table. And as an authority in recruiting, training, and managing affiliates, he has dedicated his career to mastering the intricacies of what it takes to run a highly successful affiliate program. And in his upcoming presentation, or in our podcast today, Chuck will share the insights and strategies you need to attract and empower affiliates to promote your products, your events, and your services efficiently. And Chuck also has a podcast. It's called the Creative Collaboration Show that I've actually been on. So I'll be sure to put a link to my episode in the show notes. Please go check it out. Welcome, Chuck. I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah, Lisa, I know this has been a long time in the making. We've been trying to make our calendars work, and finally here we are.
Yay.
So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm super happy that you're here. So talk about, how you got into this field of work and just why you're so passionate about it and why you want to help so many people with it.
Yeah, well, despite my youthful appearance, I actually started with affiliates back in 1998, and
Wow.
it feels like it was only yesterday, but it was the very early days of online marketing. And it's much different today, but this whole idea of earning a commission as an affiliate, right? So this whole idea of an affiliate program where I could take a link and I could promote something and earn a commission, it was a game changer. It's changed my life. I was in a business that I was in the telecom business. It was very, very capital intensive. We never had any money in the bank because it was always being spent on services or the phone bill or equipment or whatever. And then a friend of mine showed me this check for just over $10,000 that he received from a company um, that he was promoting as an affiliate. And I'm like, dude, you got to show me how to do that.
Yeah.
And so he did, and he's like, and he showed me his website, and it was the ugliest website you ever saw. And even he, if he was here today, would tell you that same thing. It was ugly, and all websites were ugly in 1998. If anybody remembers 1998, you probably had to connect to the internet through a phone line.
Mm-hmm. And you could hear
And
it dialing.
right, like dial, 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 and you get the busy signal and all of that, and you had to have a tremendous amount of patience. It, wasn't that long until we started having, broadband and where we were connected all the time, because it was probably the early 2000s when we had that. But I went from starving in the telecom industry to making a full-time passive income online through affiliates. And so that was earning money as an affiliate. And then I was recruited by a company that was in the business of teaching people how to start online businesses. And they recruited me to teach affiliate marketing. And
Oh.
one thing led to another. I ended up becoming the director of marketing of that company, where part of that was overseeing the affiliate program. So now the other side of affiliates.
Right.
And we at our peak we were doing $20 million in sales. About 40% of that came from our affiliates, and it was by far our largest marketing channel, because if you take the other 60%, it was just a mix of everything else.
Right.
And so without our affiliates, I mean, cut that $20 million in half, basically. And so that was really kind of where I got started. Unfortunately, that company didn't make it for the long term. It was sold, and I was sold with it to go and help the new owners. And then once that was over, I had a choice. I could either go get another job or I could go into business for myself. And I thought, you know what? I've got these skills. I just ran a marketing department for a very large company. Affiliate was probably our number one acquisition channel. And I have been consulting businesses on how to launch and manage and grow their affiliate programs ever since.
Wow, that's so cool.
Mhm.
I love that story. I don't think I knew that about you, that that's kind of how it came to be.
Yeah,
And
I
wow,
don't
the
look
amount of
very
money.
corporate-y, but yeah,
Yeah,
I did spend some time in corporate doing all of
I
that
do.
because like it was a long time ago. Like it really was a long time ago. It was 2010 when that company was
Right.
sold and all of that transitioned. So I have been an independent sort of business coach slash consultant for for a very long time. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And I love that the people that you help now, some of them are, just sort of starting out in their businesses, coaches and entrepreneurs and people like that. And it's like, and you help them sort of with the tech as well and getting it all set up, which I know is like a huge blocker for so many people when they're starting their business. And it's like, here, let me get it set up for you. And then you can go start, making money or have people help you make money. And then you can also make money for other people as well. So I think that's
Hmm.
awesome. Love that.
They're by
Um,
far my favorite group of people to work with, by the way, because they're not all about the money. They're about big impact and getting their coaching services out in the world. And somebody needs to be there to help them. I mean, everything else is so out of reach. And those are the people with world-changing ideas. So, we love being the support to that group.
Yeah, exactly. And we're, this season of this podcast is all about having our businesses be in integrity, which I feel like is very much aligned with exactly what you just said.
Mhm.
And I think that, yeah, that you very much are in integrity with your business.
It's
I think,
very easy not to be because
yeah,
so many people are all about making a shitload of money, and which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can make a lot of money and be authentic and be in integrity at the same time.
yeah,
But there are times where people make decisions based on profitability and not on what is the right thing to do. And sometimes the right thing to do is the less profitable thing to do, but it's still profitable. It's just less profitable than doing the wrong thing. So, let's do more of the right thing. You can still win.
yes, exactly. You can
Yeah.
still win. Yeah, yeah. And I think that if you're more in integrity, um, the chances of you winning more are higher than if you're not, so it might be like a big gain for that one thing, but like long term.
Well, I think anybody who believes in karma, that's definitely true. I mean, if you do bad things will happen. And if you do good things will happen. So
Yeah, exactly. So what does running your business with authenticity, what does that mean to you?
yeah, it for me, it really just means just being yourself. And that was one of the things that was very challenging because I mean, you and I both come from spending time in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And part of that is always, you're almost putting on a show. I don't know if it's the right term, but keeping up appearances with team members, with peers, with the board of directors, like with everybody, and it's like always looking like you have it together. And honestly, we don't always have it all together. And I just remember like it was, you know, um, you if you had a problem, you couldn't, and especially the environment and the culture we were in, you couldn't always go and just brainstorm or just be real with your peers because if you did, they would be gunning for your job like within seconds. And this is why I just love the work that I do with coaches and people wanting to make a big impact and all of that is you can just be yourself. You can just be honest. And if something isn't going your way, you can just say that it's not. And honestly the day in the life of an entrepreneur. You can wake up in the morning and you could be super excited about something, and by the end of morning coffee, you could be ready to quit. And then, an hour later, you're going to be like, okay, well, maybe it's not so bad. And then by lunchtime, you're totally stoked and excited again. And you could go through that cycle multiple times a day. Look, being a business owner, entrepreneur is not an easy thing to do. I think being authentic is being honest about that, right? Being
Right.
honest about it. Like, let's not say, oh, well, if you join this program, it's like pushing the easy button. Sorry, but no, there's no easy button. Um, if anything, it's about surrounding yourself with the right support and something that you resonate with. But let's get away from the shiny thing, and let's get away from over promising
Yeah.
the how easy something is going to be. Everything takes work, and so you're only going to get the results if you put in the effort. So I like to be honest about that and say, hey, look, I was in a meeting this morning. People wanted to get a very not impossible result, but a very aggressive result in an extremely short period of time. And I just
Mm,
said, hey guys, you know, there's probably not enough time to do that, right?
yeah.
And so let's talk about what we can do in that time frame, or let's change the time frame, right? And so let's be honest about what we can deliver and what we can promise.
Yeah, yeah, I find that too is when I work with people on their launches, right? And so sometimes they really want to shoot for the moon. I'm like, you know, and sometimes it's like even with one client I have right now, I think we've had to replan 4 times because it was like, no, I'm gonna shoot for the moon. And then I gave them like, okay, if you want to do that, then here are your 50 tasks this week that you got to get done before we do another 50 tasks next week. And I was like, you can't give me all those tasks. I'm like, well, okay, then maybe we shouldn't shoot for the moon. We could do the very simple version where now you only have like 5 tasks. And then it was like, that's no, we're gonna be like just replanning all the time. And yeah, so I always try to um tell people that. And also, I might give them something and be like, it doesn't really make sense to do this right now. Like, why am I writing this email and scheduling something that's going to go out in a month from now? I'm like, well, we just kind of want to get it done now because between now and then you're going to have so much other work that it's like I just always try to be proactive. um, but yeah, like you said, I love the entrepreneur world and how everybody can be real like that. And it's always interesting working with new people. There's so many interesting characters, and especially in the work that we do, which is very sort of like project based, you get sort of like wrapped into this person's world and you have to like kind of figure out how they work and how you can work with them. And, and it's always
Mm-hmm.
this interesting kind of dance that you do. I always think about, which is very corporate, the change curve where it's like the forming, norming, storming, performing, right? So when you
Mm-hmm.
anytime that you work with anybody, at the beginning you're kind of like everybody be polite, and then you get into the storming phase, and there's going to be some tension of some kind, until you kind of figure it out, and then you normalize, you realize how to work together, and then you start performing. And
Mm-hmm.
I see that with almost all of my clients. I'm like, oh, we're just storming right now. It's okay. And like you were talking about the up and down of a day, like depending what meetings you have, you might be in a storming meeting, you might be in a performing meeting. Like, you just never know what's going to happen.
It's exactly, yeah, and those they happen in groups, but I think it also happens with ourselves. It happens with new projects, and we go through that. I mean, there's always that high enthusiasm right at the beginning of a project.
Yeah.
And once that starts to come down, then it's like, well, wait a minute, like that's not as perfect as I thought it was, and that's where the storming comes. And then once you solve the problems of that, that's when you can start to normalize things and get on to performing. So I love that, and that's every project goes through that, right?
Every
And so
project, yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes you go through it a couple of times, especially if you bring someone new on and you're like, oh, now we got to storm with you, but we'll get through it. And sometimes it's
Mhm.
quick, sometimes it lasts a little longer.
You never know when that phase is going to come. Like it could come really early, and I like it when it does because like let's get that over with.
Mhm.
But sometimes it happens a little later in the process. But I always say like at some point, there's going to be an obstacle that I always tell my clients this, like there's going to be an obstacle where you feel like you can't get over it. And that's when the true value of us working together will be, because you're going to tell me that and we're going to work on it together. You are not alone. And so that, because what we don't want is like, oh well, this isn't working, so I'm, not going to show up to my coaching session today. No, that is the day that you have to be at your coaching session because you need the support the most.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Gotta ride the wave and it's gonna get
Right?
supported too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Let's
don't be
talk
afraid
about
to ask for help because a lot of people
Mhm.
think that asking for help is a sign of weakness. And I actually have come to realize that it's a sign of strength, right? And
I think
so,
so too. I think
mhm,
so too. Yeah, actually I noticed that with some of the solopreneurs that I work with, they're so used to doing everything themselves. We're like, oh, I'll just do everything. It's like, oh, but it's okay. You can be a team player. Try and come play with me. I'll help you.
exactly.
So let's talk about the whole affiliate management thing. And I kind of would like to start with because like I find that there can be different words. There's like collaboration partners, there's affiliates, there's JV partners, there's kind of like all different ways. And I know that you have sort of like three types of affiliates. So can you explain that to us, what the three different types are?
I do. And a lot of people assume, like, isn't an affiliate just an affiliate? Like, there's someone with a link and I pay a commission to it. And I'm like, well, yes, but really, if you can categorize them into a few different buckets, it does something. It makes them easier to identify. And also, how you recruit each type and how you manage each type will be different. And so we can't lump them all together. So with anybody's business, whether you're filling an event or a webinar or just trying to generate leads or selling a product directly, there are three types of affiliates that you want to look for. The first one is what we refer to as a JV partner, or JV stands for joint venture. I always get asked that a lot in my
Yes.
webinars. Like, what does JV stand for? Joint venture partner. Basically, this is a collaborator. And so this is somebody who has a business who serves the similar or same target audience as me. We are not direct competitors, but we could definitely refer business to one another. And we make an agreement. The most simplest JV partnership is what we call a reciprocal promotion, meaning I promote you, you promote me. And sometimes there's affiliate commissions involved in that, and sometimes there's not. Sometimes the deal is we'll just agree to promote each other. And we have a lot of both. Could also be a collaboration. And so we have launched a lot of different programs where so I wrote the course and someone else wrote the webinar, or I wrote the webinar and the course, and somebody else comes on purely as a promotional partners, and we agree to split the revenue from that. And so there's lots of different ways that you can partner or collaborate or joint venture with someone. A lot of people assume that it's a reciprocal promotion, but sometimes it's not. Especially in the case where your lists aren't the same size. So my list, I remember there was a project we were working on. The list that we had at the time was 5,000 people, and we were trying to do a collaboration deal with someone who was 50,000 people. And so, they had 10 times the number of people on their list. So how did we overcome that? Well, we ended up finding out something that they needed in their business, and we were able to deliver that for them. We say, "Hey, look, you need this. How about if we just do that for you? We won't charge you a thing, and so we'll promote you, and we'll do this thing in exchange for you promoting to your entire list of 50,000." And and so it just takes creativity. But point is, you can do some really great deals with some really great people. And how can you boost each other's businesses? Because you serve the same audience. And so that's the first type, joint ventures and collaborations. The second one is affiliates and influencers. And they are more like people who have a list of your ideal audience already. They're not really looking for a reciprocal promotion, so you're not really looking to, they're not really looking to trade promos. They're most interested in earning the commissions. And some of them are career affiliates where their entire monetization strategy is the affiliate commission. So this could be podcasters, it could be newsletter hosts, Facebook groups, websites with large email lists, newsletters. There's so many different types of affiliates who can they're looking for that affiliate commissions. In fact, I even did one which was kind of a blend between an affiliate and a JV where they had a big list. They embedded my affiliate program right into their course. And then I recorded a couple of course modules for them to go into their course. So
Mm.
yeah, that's kind of another, it's kind of, that one kind of sat in between an affiliate and a joint venture partner, and where we were able to integrate that offer right into their program. Very, very powerful thing to do. So yeah, so with influencers, you'd find a lot of them at industry events, conferences. There's specifically affiliate events for recruiting affiliates where you're going to find a lot of the what they call power affiliates. These are people with like large lists who can email out and they're looking for really good opportunities to promote and earn commissions. Uh, and so that's the second one. The third one, highly overlooked, and that's called ambassadors. And an
Okay.
ambassador is somebody who, this could be your client or somebody who's in your program or someone who's attended your events. Basically, they're a fan of yours. They do not have a big list. This is why they're highly overlooked because they don't have a big list, but they love you. They're a fan of you, and they would refer anyone to you, right? And so, for example, we have our group coaching program. We'll say to them every month, hey, by the way, our next event is happening on blah, blah, blah date. Who do you know who should be in this program right now? And can you invite them to my webinar? And we fill half our webinar every month just from those referrals. Each one of them only sending maybe one or two people each. This is why they're highly overlooked. But when you build up enough of them, they can the combination of all of those referrals outperforms a single affiliate or joint venture partner in some cases. So you want to
Wow.
grow that. You want to get, even though they can only refer a couple of people each. Look, if you had 100 of those in your program, each referring a couple of people each, it would well outperform any other affiliate or joint venture partner. In fact, at a certain point, if you got really good at that, you wouldn't even need the other two, right? Because not only they're low volume but super high quality. And if you've
Right.
ever had someone refer someone to you before, they come almost pre-sold, and so they're super high quality, and they would almost join up just because of the that trust relationship between them and the person who referred them. So we're actually doing a lot more with ambassador programs, and going to stand on our soapbox and teach that a little bit more coming up.
Nice.
But we think that everybody should work with all three because that is definitely accessible to all businesses.
Very cool. I love that. It's like having your raving fans and then they tell their people and then you get more raving fans.
Right, exactly. Exactly right. And in some cases, when you really get that going and it becomes viral, you really don't need to hunt that much for affiliates. They kind of sell themselves.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. So when you're connecting with all these three different types of affiliates, what's the best thing for them to promote?
Yeah, and that's where you really want to be strategic about what they're going to promote. I'm going to start with what not to do.
Okay.
And that is because most people are thinking, what is the shortest possible path to a customer, or what's the shortest possible path to making money? So you might be a coach that has a program that's $1,000 or even $2,000 or $3,000. We've seen people do, and you have a sales page or a page about that program. And the mistake that people will make is that they'll attach their affiliate program to that, thinking that, oh, well, if I get my affiliates email out, I want them to go to my $3,000 coaching program and they're just going to sign up. The thing is, nobody really signs up for coaching programs that way.
No.
And anytime you have an affiliate send traffic to something that has a price on it, you're looking at, fractions of a percent of response rate. And that means the majority of the traffic that they send to your page, they're going to look at your page, whether they like it or not. They're not going to sign up. They're going to go away. Maybe they come back, maybe they don't. And so it's kind of a missed opportunity. So if I'm
Hmm.
going to have an affiliate promote me, they have the list. I do not. I would like to capture as many people who visit my page as possible because now if they end up on my list, I can email them again and again and again. So if they do not buy today, they might buy down the road. So we want to offer a freebie of some sort. Now you could do like a lead magnet or a downloadable or whatever. But if you're going to make sales from it, it's got to be really, really, really good. It's great for list building, but not usually good for making sales. So that's a long way of saying that my favorite campaign is webinars and virtual events. And so with a webinar, they can come in, they can register for a webinar. It's on a specific date and time, so there's a built-in deadline to it. There's high intent because if they like what the webinar is about, then that's what's causing them to register. So you get a higher quality lead. Then they show up to your webinar, you have an opportunity to sell them and get them into your program. So that, to me, is the shortest possible path. We cannot skip that. So it does a couple of things. It builds our list, whether they attend the webinar or not, that's the list build. And then the ones that attend, those are our leads. Those are the ones that are sort of we want to follow up with because those are our potential clients,
Yeah.
and then that's where we're going to get our clients from. And so virtual events are really of any kind, webinars, master classes, challenges, whatever name you give to your virtual event, it is by far the most effective thing that you can attach your affiliate program to.
Yeah, I think so too. And I used to always do it more the lead magnet way. And then on the thank you page of the lead magnet was an invitation to my webinar. And I found I got like a 50% conversion on that. But then I also thought, well, there was 50% of people that chose not to, but at least then they were sort of on my list where I think that maybe if it was just the promotion directly to the event, um, it probably would be a higher conversion because why would they click if they weren't interested? Right.
Yeah, and it depends what you're prioritizing for. So, like to your point, if you're promoting your lead magnet, and it's just a very simple thing to say. Yeah, so let's say it's a free chapter of my book or it's a checklist or something like that. It's very easy to opt in for. Doesn't have a whole lot of intention behind it, but there's interest. So they put
Hmm.
their name and email address, if it's even a real one. Sometimes people use
Yeah.
fake email addresses to get freebies. And so yeah, you are getting the list build, but the intention isn't there. And so I like to, and do they really buy? And, I did a study not that long ago where I'm like, I don't think they are buying. But the ones that register for the webinar, whether they show up or not, we just keep inviting them. All right. And so, all our entire mission is to get people to show up to the webinar. So if they register and they do not show up, they just get invited to the next one. As long as we
Hmm.
have enough people in attendance, the sales will be there. Right. And so it just simplifies everything.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. It makes it like less complicated and yeah, and then you can get your affiliate partners to promote that exact event. They can even come themselves and see it to see what it's like. And that is really the best way, I think, because then people, like it's a whole no like trust factor and you're only going to start to build that if people actually see what you deliver and if your webinar is actually, brings value and has good quality content. Because I think that's something I've kind of noticed in some of the events that I've been to. Sometimes I'm like, I know many coaches teach when you do a webinar, talk about the what, but not the how, which I get because like a lot of stuff that whatever it is that you're selling is very much like the how to of something. But I still feel like you need to give some value. If I go to a thing and then people only tell me the mistakes of something or just the what of it, and then I leave being like, you know what, I'm not really any of the wiser. There's nothing I can actually take from this to actually so then I'm like, well, what is your program? Am I actually going to get any of the how in your program? It makes me kind of not trust them as much. And so I think that that is something to think about as well, that you really want to give value. And of course, you don't want to give away everything. Like, you shouldn't teach everything. And I don't think it's possible, even if you just have a
I don't think
$1
it's
webinar,
possible.
but I think it's really important to give value in it. And it's not just, something that's not really going to help them, you know?
Absolutely. Well, here's something that I tell everybody when they're planning their webinars is that 90% of everything you teach, they are going to forget within 24 hours. So even you might as well teach them your best stuff. And look, if that's all you've got, then go get more. And I guarantee you have a lot more in the tank than that. But they forget most of it. But here's what they will remember. They will remember you and how you made them feel.
Mm,
Like, oh, you really made me feel like I have a pathway forward. I have some next steps, that there's hope that yes, I can accomplish or solve this problem. They're not going to remember how to do it. And but they will remember that. And then they're going to remember that it was you that helped them to realize that. So when they need help, guess who they're going to come back to? Some of us are too impatient when it comes to selling. It's like if they don't buy within seconds of them leaving our webinar, we feel like, oh, that didn't work. I
right.
can tell you that so many of our sales come 30 days after the webinar. And so have good follow up. I even talked to somebody today. She was on my webinar 2 months ago, and she got on my calendar and said, you know what? I've been really thinking about this ever since I was on your webinar 2 months ago. And, it's just a testament that you are touching people. Let's not be impatient, right? Like, there is something to be said for timing. And so that's where we're more about nurturing relationships. And
Mm,
then when they are ready, trust that they will come back, right? Because
yeah.
trying to get it all right now before they leave on the webinar and trying to get it all immediately, that's kind of it's kind of a scarcity thinking.
Yes.
I operated from that for a very, very long time. But when you get to the point where you're okay, like if they were meant to be my client, they would be my client.
Right.
And maybe they are meant to be my client, but maybe not right now. And that was
Okay.
one of the most liberating changes in attitude that I ever had because the
Yeah.
fear goes away. You can just be confident. You don't have to try to manipulate everybody into saying yes on the spot. And could we do more by squeezing harder? Sure. They're not my favorite people
Yes.
to work with.
Yeah.
I have an attitude like if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? And so come back when you're ready, right? Come
Yes,
back when you're ready.
exactly. Yeah.
And gosh, like it's very scary to let go and to get there, but once you let go and you get there and you operate for that what you won't go back. You won't go back because it's so so calm. And I'm not saying don't try. You got to still
Yes.
try, but
You still need to
uh,
ask for the sale. Yeah.
right, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, don't just sit back and wait for them to offer you money. You still have to ask. But if they're saying, well, I don't have the money, or if it's like okay, and or if there's some other challenge, or they don't show up for the call, like don't go on Facebook and slam them, say, hey, somebody booked a call with me today, and they're so scarcity minded that they didn't even cancel the call. And like I see these things all the time in the coaching industry. It's like, no, just calm down. I mean, there can be a million reasons for that, and they'll come back to you.
Yep.
That's why I just keep I do the same webinar every month. I keep re-inviting people to the same webinar. They come 2 or 3 times before they buy, usually. So, so just do this. So every month we host the same webinar. We invite everyone from our list. We get affiliates to help us to promote it. And that's where our customers come from.
Yeah.
And it just simplified our life entirely.
Yeah. And what you're just saying too, there's always something about like, yeah, that scarcity mindset, but also there's always that thought in the back of an entrepreneur's mind or like a coach's mind where it's like, okay, where's my next client coming from? So I'm doing this webinar now and I got some great, but where's my next one? But maybe that next one was in that webinar and they're just not ready for you. So like you don't even really, they're just waiting for you in the future. So like it almost kind of relieves that anxiety a little bit because maybe like, they're already there and they'll come to you at some point and it'll be, this wonderful surprise when they come back to you and you didn't really have to do much.
Hmm.
They're already
Well,
there.
and
Didn't have to
yeah,
chase it.
Exactly. You don't have to chase it. You really, really, I mean, send reminders, yes, and email often, right? Most people are guilty of not emailing enough, but they're not going to unsubscribe and they're not going to yell at you. It's okay. But yeah, but you also don't have to force it either, right? Because that's not fun. It's this whole business, whether it be getting clients or getting affiliates or whatever, in our coaching program, we talk about the R word a lot, and everybody knows that R word to be the word relationship. And it's not about a transaction, right? If I get you on a consultation call right now, and I won't you leave that call until either you sign up and give me money, or we both hate each other forever. That's a transaction,
Yeah.
right? That's not relationship. Relationship has give and take. It honors the other person, and patient, right? Patient,
Hmm.
and so when you get to that place, it is so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as you were saying that too, a thing that popped in my mind that, you yes, definitely you want to build the relationships, but you also got to have some boundaries, right? You don't want someone to sort of like take advantage of you or always just book a call with you because they want free coaching or whatever, right? So there needs to be some boundaries, but you can still have this wonderful relationship and just kind of see what transpires. I love how sometimes you just have a conversation and it ends up being somewhere, that you never really thought that it would go. And I think about that when how we got working together,
Mhm.
like I think it was we were in a breakout room or something, and I did my little blurb of introducing myself, and you're like, oh, I've never heard you say it that way before, because actually I think that I
Yeah.
need you on my team. And so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because I had heard you speak on a summit, and I remember what you spoke about on that summit. And then there was another time in a breakout room where you shared something else, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I thought at all. And yeah, that was definitely the catalyst that, that sort of brought us together on all of that. So
yeah. And it just kind of like became this sort of rolling conversation. And I can't remember if I was like an affiliate of yours beforehand.
probably.
Probably, I think so. Yeah.
But this
And
is the
so
thing, like when the time is right and the conditions are right, the pathway opens up in front of you.
like,
And like, if we had, recognized that potential earlier on, were either of us even ready for that? And so that's where you have to timing is a big part of it. And sometimes you just need to, you plant a seed and you have to give it time to grow, right? And that's why it's not like, hey, you're on this call. You must become a client today or else. And,
yeah.
we need to move away from, we talk about, authenticity. Like to me, that's the most inauthentic thing I could ever do. And
Hmm.
like and could I make more by being more aggressive? Sure, I can. And I was trained in how to do that. But, it to me, it needs to feel right. And I actually trust that if a person is meant to become a client or a collaborator, they will be, and that I cannot lose them if it's meant to be. Right.
Right.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah. It'll come around at some point.
mhm.
Oh, well, this
Yeah.
has been so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing everything and talking about the three different types of affiliates and how like webinars really are sort of the best thing to get them to help you promote, because it's sort of the fastest way to the cash. And yet we still need to have patience and which then trust knowing that our right fit clients will come into our world and eventually hire us when the time is right. So Chuck, where can our listeners find you online?
Yeah. So the best thing to do is go to my website. You'll find my everything there. It's chuck360.com. And that branches off to everything. You're going to find my free webinar there, other links to other resources, my YouTube channel, my podcast. It's all there. So chuck360.com. And even the way to reach out to me if you have a challenge in your business, or you could use some partners or some affiliates to send your way, come attend my webinar on how to get affiliates to send you clients and fill your events. So come and spend. Well, I'll teach you A to Z exactly what you need to do, or let's talk. Either way. So all my contact info will be right there.
And I've been to the webinar. It is very good, and I do recommend everybody come to it. And I remember actually because I think I went to that, and I came away thinking like, wow, that was awesome. Like I
It's a lot
felt
of
really,
content. You don't have to
yeah.
hold back, right? Because A, like I said, 90% of what you taught, they'll forget in 24 hours. But also, when another mentor of mine taught me that when you solve one problem, you create another. So, yeah, you might leave there knowing exactly what you need to do to start an affiliate program. But then you're going to say, well, where am I going to get these affiliates and how do I get them to follow through on promoting me? And so that's really what we're the best at is
Yeah.
helping you to develop that team, that affiliate team and developing the relationships that promote you on an ongoing basis.
Awesome. And so to end us off, do you have any final words of wisdom?
I sure do. And this is the way I end almost every one of my podcast episodes and my talks and everything. And I'm going to say, look, owning a business and being a business owner, it's not always an easy thing to do. And there are obstacles that get in the way of where we want to go, but there is no obstacle too big to be overcome. You might be just one good partner away or one good collaboration away from the breakthrough that you need in your business. And remember that the only way to fail is to quit. So keep moving forward.
Amazing. Mic drop.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Chuck. This has been awesome. So glad you came on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically. So please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.